Everyone thinks they know the story of Cristiano Ronaldo, the most famous footballer on the planet, a global superstar loved by millions, a career filled with trophies and records. But let me ask you this, do we really know Ronaldo? Or do we only know the shining face we see on the pitch? Ronaldo's story isn't just about football. He was born on the island of Madeira, the child of a poor family. As a kid, he didn't have posters, fancy gear, or even a proper football to train with. All he had was a ball and an unshakable belief in himself. Do you think that little boy ever imagined he would one day become the greatest footballer in the world? From the streets of Madeira, his journey took him to Sporting Lisbon's academy. Ronaldo stood out immediately. He was faster, hungrier, and more determined than anyone else. But he was also isolated. While others played, he trained. Some coaches even called his obsession with practice madness. But here's the question. Does greatness come from madness or from refusing to set limits? Then came the game that changed everything. A friendly match between Sporting and Manchester United. Ronaldo destroyed United's defense that day. Sir Alex Ferguson saw him and made a decision right then. This boy is coming to Manchester. Just like that, his life changed forever. Imagine, one match and your entire destiny flips. What would you do in that moment? At Manchester United, Ronaldo transformed from a flashy winger into a goal machine. But the path wasn't smooth. The English media tore him apart. Every dribble, every fall, every celebration was criticized. He dives. He's arrogant. That's what they said. But Ronaldo turned every criticism into fuel. Would you have survived that pressure, or would you have quit? Then came Real Madrid, the world's most expensive transfer at the time. Every game was a spotlight, every goal a headline. And Ronaldo didn't just live up to the hype, he smashed every record. He became the all-time top scorer of Real Madrid. But behind the goals, there was always a battle. The rivalry with Messi. Two different styles, two different personalities. The greatest rivalry football has ever seen. Here's a thought. Without Messi, would Ronaldo have pushed himself so far? Or was Messi the hidden fire that kept him going? But success wasn't the only thing in his life. There was pain too. Ronaldo lost his father at a young age. That loss haunted him. For him, football wasn't just a career, it was an escape, a way to fight his own battles. Every time he stepped on the pitch, he wasn't just playing against opponents. He was fighting his inner pain as well. Today, Ronaldo is more than an athlete. He's a brand worth billions, the most followed man on social media, a global icon. But deep down, he's still that kid from Madeira, fighting to prove himself, chasing something bigger than the game. And in this video, we're going to uncover the side of Cristiano Ronaldo that most people never see. Not just the victories, but the struggles. Not just the trophies, but the sacrifices. We'll explore the untold stories, the shadows behind the spotlight, and maybe even his greatest secret. Because Cristiano Ronaldo's story doesn't just ask us how he became great, it forces us to ask ourselves, what is greatness really worth? Now let's dive deeper into the most defining moments of Ronaldo's journey, because his story is not just about goals and trophies. Behind the scenes, there's a harder, darker, and more inspiring path. One of Ronaldo's first big turning points was his time at Manchester United. He was still very young, unprepared for the physicality of English football. Even his teammates mocked him. This kid just dribbles. He never releases the ball, they said. But Ronaldo made a decision. They can laugh, but I will become the best in the world. And so he worked days, months, years, harder than anyone else. After training ended, when everyone went home, he was the one who stayed behind. Can you imagine what it means for a player to train until late when others rest? Most would go home, relax. But he stayed, he worked, And that's what made the difference. His years in Manchester didn't just bring him trophies, they turned him into a warrior mentally. In the Premier League, defenders are brutal. The media is unforgiving. Ronaldo toughened up both physically and mentally during those years. That skinny young winger transformed into a muscular, resilient athlete. The Ronaldo we saw dominating the field was forged through years of being mocked and doubted. And then came 2008, the Champions League final. Ronaldo stepped up and scored. That season, he won the Ballon d'Or, the best player in the world. Just 23 years old? Think about it, reaching the top while still so young. But here's the real question. Is it harder to get to the top or to stay there? And this is what makes Ronaldo's story unique. He didn't just reach the top, he stayed there for years. Then came the Real Madrid chapter. He arrived as the most expensive transfer in history, and this is where Ronaldo's character really showed. Because now the whole world was watching. Every match, every touch, every move, and at Real Madrid, he became a legend. But it wasn't easy. In the beginning, he was heavily criticized. Even fans questioned, does he deserve this money? But Ronaldo did what he always does. He answered on the pitch. Goals, goals, and more goals. Until he became the highest scorer in Real Madrid's history, 450 goals in 438 games. Think about that. Numbers like that don't come from talent alone. They come from obsession, discipline, and a relentless hunger. But his story at Madrid wasn't just about numbers. His rivalry with Messi defined an entire era. Two completely different characters, two opposite styles. Messi was natural talent, Ronaldo was superhuman work ethic. Which one is more valuable? Is it talent you're born with, or greatness you carve out with blood and sweat? Maybe the beauty of football is that there's no single answer. At Madrid, Ronaldo wasn't just a player, he was an icon. Fans chanted his name, kids imitated his moves. But even then, he carried personal struggles. He lost his father, and he carried that pain deep inside. He once admitted he would look at his father's photo before some matches, so when he stepped on the pitch, he wasn't just fighting opponents, he was also fighting his past. In 2016, Ronaldo experienced what may have been the proudest moment of his career, winning the European Championship with Portugal. For years, he was criticized for not delivering internationally. But in the final in France, even after being injured and forced off, he motivated his team from the sidelines, like a coach. That night proved football isn't just played with the feet, but with the heart. Then came Juventus. Many thought he was finished, too old, on the decline. But once again, Ronaldo proved everyone wrong. He became top scorer in Italy too. No matter where he went, he dominated. This wasn't just about football, it was about an endless hunger, a restless spirit that never accepts enough. But let's not forget, Ronaldo's life isn't only about football. His private life has always been under the spotlight. His children, his partner, his family. The media followed his every step. And yet, through all that pressure, he always managed to stay focused on his craft. So how did he do it? Maybe what makes him truly unique isn't just talent, but his mental resilience. Think about it. Even in his late 30s, Ronaldo was still competing at the highest level. How many players can do that? Almost none. This is the ultimate proof of his discipline. He fulfilled the promise he made as a teenager. I will become the greatest in history. But here's the bigger question. Is Ronaldo truly the greatest of all time? Or is what makes his story so powerful not his trophies, but his battles? Do you think it's the rivalry with Messi that defined him? Or was it his own inner fight? And that's the real takeaway. Ronaldo's story isn't just about a footballer. It's about proving that no matter who you are, as long as you don't give up, you can achieve anything. When we look at Cristiano Ronaldo's story, we actually see a lesson beyond football itself. This is not just the success story of one player. It's proof of what patience, discipline, and belief can create. But here's where I ask you, what is Ronaldo's true legacy? Is it the hundreds of goals he scored, the 5 Ballon d'Or awards, or his unbreakable spirit? Think about it. As a young player, Ronaldo was one of the most mocked footballers. He's too flashy, he doesn't pass, he's too weak, they said. Did those words break him? Number on the contrary, he turned them into fuel. And today we are still talking about him. So, what do you think? Does true success come from natural talent or from refusing to quit and demanding more every single day? Remember Ronaldo's Real Madrid era. He scored in almost every match. He broke records every season. But what do you remember the most? His rivalry with Messi? Or the hunger in his eyes every time he stepped on the pitch? Maybe his greatest strength was that he always stayed hungry. Now imagine yourself, if you had all that fame and money, would you still work with the same obsession? And then, his triumph with the national team, the 2016 European Championship. That moment showed us something. Ronaldo wasn't just playing for himself, he was carrying his country, his people, onto the field. Was that the most unforgettable moment of his career? Or were his Champions League final goals greater? Think about his Juventus days. His age was advancing, but he was still at the top. Most players decline after 30, but he was still there, still chasing records. So here's another question. Do you think Ronaldo's true power was in his muscles or in his mind? And today, as he approaches 39, he's still one of the most talked about footballers. That proves one thing: real legends continue to live on, even when they step off the field. Now let me ask you, do you think Ronaldo is the greatest player of all time? Or is it Messi? Maybe Pele? Maybe Maradona? Who do you believe is greater? And more importantly, how do we measure greatness? By trophies? By goals? Or by the impact you leave on people's hearts? Maybe the biggest lesson from Ronaldo's journey is this: it doesn't matter what people say. Even when they tell you something is impossible, keep working. Because in the end, what they call impossible can become your reality. And now, my friend, here's what I want to say at the end of this video. If this story inspired you, don't forget to like the video. Subscribe to the channel, because we still have so many legends to tell. And share in the comments, what do you think was Ronaldo's most unforgettable moment? His first Ballon d'Or? His record-breaking years at Real Madrid? Or the European Championship with Portugal? Also, I want to know, which legend do you want to see in the next video? Messi, Ronaldinho, or someone else completely? Maybe your suggestion will become the hero of our next story. Because remember, Ronaldo's story isn't over yet. He's still playing, still fighting. Maybe the real story is only just beginning.